Rebuilding a model steam plant. This is episode 26. The new brass machine screws arrive, but some need shortening. I show a quick and easy method of doing that, followed by fitting the boiler as well as the burner and base parts together. And the good news is, unlike in a previous attempt when I drilled the holes in the wrong place, the new base plate is perfect, and now the mounting bolts are all in the right place. While on the subject of bolts, well, these are actually machine screws, I suppose, I thought I would show you these that I've just bought via eBay from a company called EKP Supplies. The web address and phone numbers are here should you need to buy anything from them. Their products really are first class. These are not like the sort of bolts you would buy in a DIY outlet. Not only are these very accurate, they're extremely well made and look great. I bought a few, some 5BA, 4BA and 10BA, all dome head or round head. All of the bolts are half an inch long, including these 10BA brass bolts, which are very useful for fixing boiler banding in place. I don't need the 10BA bolts for anything on this steam plant. I just bought them so that I had them in stock. The job starts by shortening some of the 5BA bolts, which will be used as pinch bolts to hold the burner in place. And to do this, I'm going to use my Proxon motor tool in the bench mounting and some of these excellent Easy Speed cutting discs from Dremel. This job is simplicity itself. First of all, these Easy type cutting discs just snap into place on a specially made adapter. I have a very small pair of pliers, and the thickness of the jaws are ideal for setting the length, and by using this, every one of the 5BA pinch bolts will be the correct length. You will notice that once I cut the part, I hold it underneath the revolving cutting disc just to clean up the end of it. A very simple job, and may I say, almost quite enjoyable. One thing I do need to mention though is you must wear eye protection when doing jobs like this. That was really quick, the job's completed already. I removed it from the chuck and then I removed the disc from the holder and then put it back in the box. If you've been watching this series, you should be aware that this is the gas burner holder, and here it is with the pinch bolts fitted in place. I'm going to go back in time to the previous episode because a viewer asked me why did I silver solder the parts together. I did think I'd covered that in the video, but maybe not. Here it is again. When I first tested the two pieces of brass angle, the leverage of the pinch bolt moved them out of the way. And that is why I decided to silver solder the parts together into one unit. Now the pinch bolts hold the burner without putting any strain on the mounting bolts that come through the bed plate. Now when I tighten the bolts against the burner, the brass angle doesn't move. It's a belt and braces approach, I know, but it's the way I like to do things. And these days my trousers seldom fall down. As you can clearly see from this clip, the burner is a really tight fit in the holder. Now the base is thoroughly painted with heat-resistant paint. I'm removing the silicone rubber tubing, which stopped the paint from getting onto the threads. I really had to rub down this paintwork with a cloth just to remove all of the graphite, and both the cloth and my hands got quite black in the process. I don't normally have a problem with this, maybe I didn't shake the can for long enough. But anyway, it's okay now. Now it's time to see if the boiler actually fits on the mountings. I pushed 4 5BA countersunk bolts through the holes, and the good news is, when I put the boiler in position, it is perfect. All of the bolts line up perfectly with the slots in the feet of the boiler. This is where the boiler is going to go. You may wonder why I haven't put it in the middle. There is a reason for this. The boiler base plate has to cover up the original mountings, and in this position it covers all 4 of them. Normally the boiler would be fitted the other way round, but I need to have the pressure gauge and the water gauge near the operator, rather than round the back out of the way. And the other reason is the chimney gets very hot, so I don't want that to be right in front of the plant. At long last it's time to mount this brass gas burner support permanently in place on the baseboard. Over the last couple of episodes I have laboured the point about the gas burner holder. but it's a very important part of a steam plant and well worth spending some time on. If you take a close look at this clip, there are one or two points I'd like to mention. The gas burner's venturi tube is a perfect fit through the opening at the bottom of the boiler and doesn't foul it in any way. Because the boiler's fitted this way round, it gives very easy access to the water gauge's blowdown valve. But wait a minute, where's the water pump? It's at the other end of the boiler. And at this end is the check valve. Oh dear, is this a problem? No, not at all. Even though I never use a script, I just look at the pictures and speak, I do think about the job in advance. The boiler feed water pipe from the pump at the chimney end of the boiler will run underneath the boiler and around the gas burner. This will act as a feed water heater, allowing the hand pump to pump the cold water from the water tank through this pipe, around the burner a couple of times and into the check valve. So instead of pumping cold water into the boiler, it will at least be on the way to being warm before it gets there. The reason for the 6 bolts, and the bolts being longer than they should be really, is to support the water pipe. It's time now to fit this large plastic tank. So what is this all about? Well, it's where the gas tank goes. It just so happens that a cheddar gas tank fits perfectly in this plastic holder. And after I magnetised my screwdriver to hold the screws, I could easily fix it down onto the mountings as shown here. Bending the piece of copper pipe that goes between the gas tank inside the plastic tube to the gas jet holder that fits in the venturi on the burner was a real pain of a job to do. It had been bent before, so it was quite hard, and I didn't want to anneal it. Annealing pipe like this is not a good idea because the scale build-up inside the pipe is very likely to block the gas jet. It took a while, but thankfully, being a keyboard player, my fingers are quite strong, and I bent the pipe into submission in about 10 minutes, constantly making a lot of small bends and then bending them back until it got to be quite straight. By this stage the job wasn't perfect. I need to bend it a slight amount more, but it's getting there. I think it will look okay when it's all together. As the gas jet needs to be in a fixed position relative to the venturi, I'm going to fit a collar to it, so that I don't need to bolt this in place to the venturi. That way it can be pulled in and out when the gas tank needs refilling. Refilling the gas tank in a confined space like the plastic tube that it sits in is definitely not a good idea, and it must be removed for filling always. Butane gas is heavier than air and would sit in the bottom of the tank until an ignition source came anywhere near it, and there is a fire quite close to it. In the next episode I will be thoroughly testing the gas burner system to make sure that everything works okay. That's it from me for now. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.